That's why I always talk about coaching from the beginning, coaching from the time you get on a call, coaching when you're in a no sweat intro, because I want them to experience that. So when somebody starts to put, like, I want them to feel what it's like to be coached from the beginning. So they understand what makes us different. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to hold you accountable.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple. Today, we have our boy on here with us, Robert Schwartz of All Fit Orlando. Of course, Blake is on here, and I'm Sherman. Guys, the boys are going to just go crazy today, so hang on. Just hang on. Don't take anything personally because we're coming hard today. We're just going to give you guys some tips.
Put on your seatbelts.
Yeah, put on your seatbelts because we're coming in. We're coming in. Rob, I'm going to let you start it off, Rob, because I know you like to talk. Let's start it off. What do you want to start with?
You know, what I really want to start with today is like a mindset, right? So I want to talk about a mindset when it comes to setting up and approaching, interacting with potential new gym members, clients, athletes, whatever you refer to your gym members as, and making sure that you set yourself up for success, right? Because there's a couple of things that I constantly encounter when I'm talking to gym owners, right? And a couple of things, number one, is that they don't set themselves up or prepare for discovery calls or greeting and meeting new potential members in the right manner, right? Number one. And number two, I've definitely encountered a lot of gym owners who are essentially afraid to sell gym memberships, and I don't mean like afraid like they're scared. I mean afraid to, I guess in words, be assertive, be pushy, or kind of really try to push people into joining their gym, right? And to be honest, and I know that a lot of you guys who know me and have interacted with me in the past are going to be like blown away by what I'm about to say, but I actually was there too in gym ownership, right? I was actually at a point where when I was a new gym owner, one of my big things was, oh, we're not going to push you. Hey, come on to the gym. It'll be great. Just come on. Oh, you want to join? Great. If you don't, cool. No problem. Like I was that guy too. But after many, many years, not just, working for other gyms and running my own gym, I realized that people, when they come and step forward and they step into your gym, they're looking for help. They need help, right? They don't just come down because they just had nothing else better to do today. They're looking for help. They've got a problem that they're hoping that you can solve. And what they need is they need a coach. And so that's where I kind of want to talk about today, is like shifting your mindset and not thinking of yourself as a salesperson. I want the people that listen to this, the gym owners who are struggling, or the managers, or anybody within those organizations who are struggling with being assertive in the sales process and really getting people across that finish line, is I want you to shift your mindset from selling something to coaching people. Okay. So first and foremost, let's talk about the mindset, right? The mindset is simple. Number one, you should, and if you don't, you're in the wrong business. You should fundamentally believe in your heart, in your mind, in every fiber of your being, that what your gym can do for these people is life-changing. You have to believe that. You have to believe that if somebody joins your gym and is struggling with physical appearance, with internal stuff, with emotional things, with consistency and accountability, with getting actual results and feeling the way that they want to feel, you have to believe fundamentally that if they came to your gym 3 to 4 times a week and got their stuff together, that you're going to turn that around for them, right? And so if you're listening to this and you don't believe that, either A, you're in the wrong business, or B, I want you to go back and look at your implementation and see where the problem is there. But everybody that I talk to, right, especially in the micro gym level, they do this because they're passionate and they fundamentally believe that people who come to their gym 3 to 4 times a week consistently will get results. Okay. So when you are in that position, you're not selling snake oil to somebody. You're coaching them into a process that can be life changing. And so when you come into this process with that mindset, that's the first way to get you out of that fear of being too salesy. Okay. So now let's back up a little bit. I want to go into setting the table the right way. Okay. So let's talk about setting up for a discovery call first, and then we're going to talk about setting up for your no sweat intro. And then we'll kind of bring all this stuff home in the end on how we kind of coach people. All right. So, first and foremost, people we do discovery calls with, right? Very, very, very important, right? When you're doing a discovery call, that you have to remember that this is the very first interaction that somebody is going to have with you, your gym, and your brand. Okay. If you treat it like a ho hum call, you're going to get ho hum reactions from the people who you're on the phone with and ho hum feelings about coming into your gym. Okay. So think that the person that's on the other end of this call is struggling with accountability, consistency, has been on the roller coaster for many, many years. Tried this, fell off. Tried that, fell off. Everybody is so busy. Everybody's so busy. They don't have the time because they don't prioritize their health and fitness. And they have all kinds of other excuses that they've put up for themselves, right? So they hop on this call with you. The first thing that you need to do is you need to be ready to meet them with energy and enthusiasm and get them excited about a life-changing decision that they're about to make by joining your gym, okay? So if you get on the phone and you're like, hey, how you doing? This is Rob from AllFit. How are you today? Like, that's not going to get anybody excited about things, right? So I want you, before you get on a discovery call, I want you to be ready. You got to pump yourself up. What I like to tell gym owners is, especially if you've ever coached and trained, I want you to imagine yourself in front of a room of 20, 25 athletes. Music's pumping, sweat is flying, barbells are clanging, right? And you're energetic, right? When you're in that moment as a coach, you're excited, you're energetic, you're ready to go. That's how you should meet somebody with that intensity on a discovery call. You're going to start coaching them literally from the second they answer the phone, because you're going to meet them with that excitement, right? So that's number one. Number two, I never do a discovery call sitting down. I never. Because when I'm coaching a class in front of 20, 30 people and I need to be energetic, am I sitting down or am I standing and I'm excited, right? And I'm half Italian, so I like to move my hands a lot. So I got an ear pod in or my headphones on. I stand up, I walk around so that I can have that energy and I can bring that energy to the call, right? So now when somebody gets on the phone, hey, Blake, it's Robert from AllFit Orlando. I'm so excited to talk with you today. Sorry I was a minute late. We got a busy day here at the gym. But hey, listen, I know your time is just as important as mine, so let's just jump right into it. Do you see that intensity? Like, I'm coaching this person right away. They think they were going to get on the phone and ask me, oh, hi, can you tell me how much your program is? No, it's the other way
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, like, I believe that's a big one, Rob. Like, anyone that's met Rob, you obviously can hear it in his voice. The energy that you bring is contagious, right? And I think so many people, whether in the sales process or just meeting potential new members, when they're, I don't want to use the word afraid, but when they're not bold and confident in what they're doing, that portrays to the potential member. So, like, if you're not sure, well, they're definitely not sure. Like, that's the thing I always say, Rob, like, I really haven't been there where you started. Like, for me, pretty much since I've had the gym, even when it was in my garage, it had to be successful. I had to sell. So, like, I was hard closing in my garage. Like, I remember a lady came to me and she was like, well, I didn't know it was in your garage. And I remember being like, well, does it matter? Like, you told me you were trying to get in shape, and like, you've already gone to the other gyms and like, you can't get in shape there. So, like, why does it matter? She was like, yeah, like, you have a good point. Like, I'm going to give it a try. And she ended up sticking around for years. Then I remember thinking, like, oh, it's really that easy of me genuinely wanting to help people. And then I have to be honest with them, right? You have to be honest with them, because if you're not honest with them, what happens when you're not honest, Rob? We've seen it time and time again. You don't tell them the truth. They don't get the results they want because you didn't tell them exactly what they needed to hear. And then they end up leaving because, oh, this just wasn't what you told me it was going to be like. So I'm going to go down the road and try it with that gym because, like, they think greener pastures. So, like, I like that. Like, I do think the energy and just the sales process has to be something that you don't have to be passionate about it. Like, it's not for everyone. And gym owners, if you're listening to this, if someone really doesn't want to do sales, you really can't force them. Do I think that anyone can do sales? No. But I think if someone genuinely wants to get good at it, that's the person I would focus on over someone that you think would be great at it who doesn't want to do it, right? Like, I would much rather take someone that, like, hey, I'm not great at it, but I'm willing to learn. Okay, we can work, But time and time again on these calls, we hear like, oh, like no one really wants to sell, or I don't think guys, like, if you're not selling, you're dying. For
Well,
sure.
and that was that's a really good segue, Sherman, into something else that I wanted to chat about. We'll go back into setting the table for the NSI, but I'll kind of take the tangent here, right? Something else that I really try to talk through gym owners and managers with is that I want you to take, just like I said in the beginning, I want you to take the idea that you're selling out of the equation. You're not selling, you're coaching, right? I'm going to coach you because I'm the expert. I'm going to bring you in. We're going to have a human to human conversation, and I'm going to ask the right questions because I've been doing this long enough to know what I need to know from you so that I could diagnose your problem and offer you solutions to fix that problem, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not selling you anything. I'm listening to you as a human being, and then I'm going to coach you into taking action on the things that you just verbalized to me are important to you, okay? Which is something that I've been saying a lot lately. And that is, in the absence of value, price is always an issue, right? So by having a conversation with somebody, you can find out what somebody values, i.e. what brings them in, what motivates them, what are they looking to, what are they failing in their health and fitness journey, and what are they looking for you to help them with. That's what they value. So if you understand what somebody values, then you can build value in your program when you make a presentation to them of, here, based on what you've told me and what I've seen, this is the best option to solve X, Y, and Z, right? And you present them with a plan that is going to solve the problems that they just told you. Now you're not selling them anything. You've just coached them and walked them into a plan that they had verbalized to you they are looking to accomplish for themselves. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And you touched on something, for you guys that are listening to this, you have to get very clear on how the gym is the solution to their problem, right? And I can't emphasize this enough. Nothing else matters, guys. Your programming doesn't matter. Your community doesn't matter. Your location, your class times, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is you're talking about, if someone comes in, like, for instance, if Rob came to me and be like, sure, hey, like, blah, 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 I want to lose 15 pounds. I want to get in better shape for the summer. I'm going to talk about how my gym helps people lose weight and get in better shape. Nothing else. Because obviously Robert doesn't care about anything else. So that's what we're going to talk about. All the other stuff is going to be ancillary. It's going to be an added benefit, but you have to figure out what is their problem. Like Rob mentioned earlier, that's first and foremost. You have to figure out what their problem is. And once you figure out what their problem is, you position your gym as the solution to their problem. And if you do that, the selling gets much easier. Like, wouldn't you agree?
100%. But remember, it's not selling. The coaching gets easier, right? And that's what's going to happen, right? So, and let's just dive into that. So where people get tripped up in the process is when they Robert, I did all of that. And then at the end of it, they said, well, I got to talk to my husband. Or they go, oh, that was a little bit more than I had planned on spending, right? Is that always the truth? I say, no, it's not always the truth. I do have a saying, buyers are liars. Okay. I genuinely believe that what people tell you as their excuse for joining the gym is not really the excuse, because what really the excuse is hard for people to outwardly verbalize or just admit, because people are not generally aware, right? Nobody's going to say to you, you know what, Herman, I don't want to join because I don't know if I'm ready to come to the gym 3 to 4 times a week because I really like being lazy and inconsistent. And I've got a vacation coming up and this, that, and the other thing. And I just don't want to add extra things to my plate. I'd rather just continue to be lazy. That's really at the end of the day, though, that's really what's going on, right? People who are not regularly engaged in a fitness program, they're not prioritizing it. And when you're not prioritizing it, it seems difficult to put it on your plate and add it into your schedule, right? So this is where coaching comes in. So you have to, as that person who wants to help this person, it is on you to start coaching that person while they're sitting there in your office and coach them through how they can make this work for themselves despite all the objections that they have and all their reasoning why they don't think they can. You just need to give them one reason that they can do it, and
Correct.
you will be all set, right? And so that's where the coaching process comes in. It's not selling, it's coaching. Hey Sherman, I hear that you don't feel like you have the time obligation, and you start walking them through it. Hey, listen, you know what? If you don't feel like you have the time available, I understand that you feel that way, but it's just because you're not prioritizing it right now, right? I'm
Yep.
going to help you put this on your
Yep.
calendar and get you into the groove. I've been doing this long enough, Sherman, that I can guarantee you that after about 4 to 6 weeks of coming consistently 3 to 4 times a week, it's not going to be a chore anymore. And once you get past that first 90 days and really solidified it as a habit, you will no longer feel like you're too busy or you don't have the time to come to the gym, because that 1 hour will be part of your day, just like you put time off to make your bed and brush your teeth and do all the other things that you're doing in your day. So it's just a mindset shift and prioritization. And what happens is, and how you get that is from coaching. And so that's why I'm so big on like teaching gym owners, like you're coaching people literally from the beginning, your very first interaction, from that discovery call, from the time they come in for a no sweat, you're coaching them by doing the things that you would do as a coach in your gym when it comes to whether you're training a client or coaching them in a group class, right? You want to A, figure out what their goals are. B, you want to see what's going on with them and then provide them with the right experience to get them where they want to go. That's coaching. It's not sales.
Yeah.
I,
No.
I think one thing, I'll add one nugget to your guys' tangent because I'm not going to get a word in this whole time if I don't.
Hey, there's two salesmen talking. Two salesmen talking. We're excited. We're fired up.
All right, so I like to think of this like the way that you guys are talking. I think of a movie, right? Take Batman, take whoever, right? You have to have a guide to get you to the results, right? Batman has Robin. You think of all these major characters, right? They're fighting. You can think of the victim being like the other gyms or like just all the things that they battled. You have to become the segue to get them to the results. You're that guide in between. They're like, hey, they're the hero in the story. Make them the hero. Talk about their problems, right? Know their external, internal problems. Then you become the guide that gets them from point A to point B. So if you think about like, if you guys watch, like, and this will ruin every movie for you going forever, is there's a hero, there's a guide, and there's a villain. Without those elements, there's no great movie and there's no drama, right? So think of the person, if you're like a creative like me and you're having trouble with sales, is that like, hey, this client, this lead is the hero in the story. I need to know how I can bridge the gap to get them to where they need to be by knowing the external and internal problems that they're going with through. External is just, they don't have time, whatever it may be. They've tried a bunch of things. Internal are the things that are going to sell them, right? And then bridging that gap and then going there. So that's just my little piece of advice and golden nugget in this. You guys continue.
Well, I want you guys to think about this too, and I think that was a really good, that really helped me think about what I'm about to say next. And that is, when you talk about what is the main difference between micro gyms and everybody else out there, because people always, when I do surveys at gym, I was like, hey, what's the number one question that people ask you? And a lot of times I hear, well, what makes you different than everybody else, right? Well, how are you different than an Orange Theory or an F45 or any of those other gyms, right? It's coaching. We're different because we are going to coach you. These are coach-led classes with periodization, but you don't need to get in that depth with them. They just need to hear coaching. And I think that when you talk about why is it so difficult for the average person to jump into a micro gym when you present them with the problem is coaching. Those of us who've been athletes our whole life, being coached is nothing. Like that's
Yeah,
what
that's part of it.
right.
Correct.
So we're all for it. But I think that there's something in the human psyche, especially if people have never been coached, or maybe they had a coaching experience in middle school and they had a bad experience, right? When they think about being coached, they might have a bad feeling about that. Or maybe there's something about the human psyche that when they become an adult of certain age, they feel like they're beyond coaching, right? So there's that. I think that there's that disconnect sometimes. So that's why I always talk about coaching from the beginning, coaching from the time you get on a call, coaching when you're in a no sweat intro, because I want them to experience that. So when somebody starts to I want them to feel what it's like to be coached from the beginning. So they understand what makes us different. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to hold you accountable. We're going to progress you, and we're going to make sure that you're doing the things that you're supposed to. That's the difference between success and continuing on the same path, doing the same BS, trying to get a different result. It's not going to happen for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
No. I've been being in the micro gym community for so long myself. I believe that's that's how we've been able to charge a premium in comparison to so many other gyms. Like, it's the coaching, right? Like, if it's not about the coaching, like you said, that's something that I've thought about often. Played basketball my entire life, college player, blah blah blah. But I wouldn't even feel right not having a coach, whether that's for anything. Like, I want someone that's sort of been there, someone that can help me get there quicker, because I know if I have a coach, I'm going to miss some pitfalls that I would probably fall into myself. And most people, they're just not used to that, right? When they come to a gym and they're like, oh, so everything is structured so there's someone attending to me? Yes, exactly. Someone's helping you the entire time. So no more walking around aimlessly, no more doing dumb stuff that you read in a magazine. Someone is actually coaching you to be great at what you're trying to and reach your goals. So yeah, I like that. Rob, I sort of want to switch right quick. I want to switch gears. I want to talk about something that we've seen coming up a little bit lately in the community. Let's talk about this pricing. Like, where should you post it? Like, where should the pricing be? Because I have my thoughts on it, but I want to know, let's talk about this sort of openly and see where we sort of end up. Blake, you have anything you want to add? Because, Rob and I, we'll drown you out, man. So, Blake, we'll let you start. How about that?
Oh, you let me start?
Yes, we'll let you start.
Mine is very simple. If you can take on more members and you're not on a wait list, you shouldn't post your prices, because people are you're giving the pricing. If you look at it as a lead magnet, you're getting information for getting information, right? Like, they're inquiring, you're giving it. But if they're like, I get it. Some people are like, well, if they're only worried about price, they're not a good lead. But here's the thing. If you get their information, if you get their information and then they have a bad experience somewhere else and you're in their email box, where are they going to go to? They're going to go to you, right? So if you're missing out because you have all of your pricing listed, you're not contacting them. And I've seen it and say oh, all these don't convert. Well, but you're talking about your first message that goes out is the price. So they stop messaging you back. You don't talk about the value. If somebody has $300 and $300, but you give away a free heart rate monitor, you're doing in-body scans every week, and you give them a weekly nutrition meal compared to Orange Theory's just come in and work out or whatever it is, those are different values of $300. But if you're not able to talk to somebody, you'll never get the chance to do it. So mine is very, very simple. You should never list your prices until you're at the point that you literally can't take anybody else. That's mine.
Okay. That's good. Let's go. All right. So Blake gave us his take. All right, Rob, let's go.
All right. So, I'm ever the diplomat, right? I always try to listen to both sides of the coin and see if there's ever a way to work both sides of it, right? Can you do both? Can you capture somebody's information, but can you give them something so that you don't feel like you're being elusive, right? And I'm looking at it from the consumer's perspective, right? So here's the thing, right, guys? We have two different types of people who are coming through our website that are looking for pricing, right? So the first are, your experienced micro gym, CrossFitter, functional fitness person. They're doing this already. So, they're just looking for pricing, and hopefully, if they're doing it, they understand how that works, right? The others are the people who saw your lead, right? Saw your ad on Facebook, or found you through a Google search because they're looking for gyms in the area, and then they go to your website, and no, they're not bad leads, but what else are they going to ask you, right? People don't understand anything else other than what are class times and how much does this cost, right? They don't understand anything else. So those people, the uninformed shopper, I also believe that they're going to compare pricing based off of what they see and hear the most. And what are the gyms that you see and hear about the most in the world? Planet Fitness, Crunch
Yeah, the
Fitness,
big ones. Yeah, the big one, the big cheap ones.
right?
Yep.
$10, 50, well, now it's $15 a month, right? $15 a month, $29 a month, right? They don't understand that it's coach directed fitness. Or maybe they're thinking to themselves, I can go join Crunch Fitness and they have group classes there. So why do they charge $225 at this gym, right? So for me, the happy medium lies in and something that I've been experimenting with lately is, can we give a small number? So can we give them something while engaging them in a conversation? So can we answer the question, but keep them intrigued enough to continue the conversation so that we could get either on a phone call or invite them in so that they could seek. So let's go back to what I said in the beginning. In the absence of value, price is always an issue. So that they don't understand the value that you're providing in your gym, if you just throw the numbers out there, they're never going to answer you again, right? There's this big debate, and people go, oh, well, if they're not going to talk to you after you give them the price, might as well just throw the prices on your website, and then you don't have to deal with them. But to Blake's point, well, don't you want their information so that you can continue to market to them? And I'll give you a quick, for instance. I had a girl join my gym this week. She joined my gym this week. It's not remarkable. What's remarkable is that she came in through a rate request form 6 months ago. Came in through the rate request form, went through the whole workflow. We kept pushing her. She never responded to the rates. She had stopped, so she got D&D'd on the text messaging, but still continued to get our regular emails. 6 months later, I got a rate request from her last week again. And I emailed her. I said, hey, I noticed you've been getting my stuff for the last 6 months. You did a rate request. How can I help you? Well, she did what most people do. She went to a cheaper discount bargain basement gym first, then realized she was nowhere near where she wanted to be. And guess what? She found her way back to me. And now the price made sense to her. And now she's very happy. Week one, she's like, I should have done this 6 months ago, right? So there is value in capturing that lead and continuing to be able to nurture them. So here's my answer, right? As a long talk to an answer. What I'm working with now is giving people a very small, manageable, palpable number and trying to engage them in a conversation. Hey, yeah, I was inquiring about rates. Were you just interested in group fitness, personal training, nutrition, anything, all the above, right? If they're anything other than group fitness, hey, you know what? Sounds like you've got some questions. How about we hop on a quick phone call and we can talk through it and I can give you something more upfront. Or if you don't want to get on the phone, how about you come down and we can talk about it and I'll build a plan for you. We'll give you exact pricing, right? Because that's true, right? Personal training varies based on frequency and use. Nutrition varies based on frequency and use, level of accountability. So you can build packages for people based on that could range anywhere from $200 a month to $1,000, $1,500 a month. So it's a
for sure,
range, right? So I don't want to get into that over text message, right? So short and sweet. Hey, sounds like you have a lot of questions. Do you have time for a quick call, right? If they just say group fitness, then I'm going to give them my cheapest price. Hey, you know what? My classes go anywhere between $10 to $15 a class, depending on how much you come in. And then I follow it up with a question. So, hey, my classes start at $10 to $15. Does that work for you? Would you like to come in and try a class, or do you have more questions? I want to just keep asking questions and engage them in a conversation, right? If I say $10 to $15 a class and then I don't hear from them again, no way.
Yeah,
I
already know.
I like that class point, right? Like, and I've seen that only on one website, and I think we talked about it, me and you, of like, hey, it's $15 a class. It's not, you're not lying to them, because over the course of the membership, it would be that, right? So you're giving them just like a tiny bit of information, because if they're like, I pay $15 a month, like I can't do that, right? Then you weeded those people out. I think the biggest problem people have is like, I don't want to deal with the people that like can only afford, Planet Fitness, right? Or whatever it means. And probably they can't just afford Planet Fitness because they're walking around with iPhones, right? They're choosing to go to Planet Fitness. But I think to your point, I like what you're saying, that if you do feel like you have to give price, go with the class price and go with like an unlimited, right? Like if you base down your unlimited to 5 days a week or 4 days a week, how much would that pricing be per class? Hey, our prices start around like $9 per class. Would that work for you?
Yeah,
that would. That sounds really reasonable. Okay, great. Well, times 20 is, $180, but at least you're just honest, right?
Right. It's honest. It gives them an actual dollar amount. You're not being dodgy. It gives you an opportunity to continue the conversation. And again, right, go back to my previous statements, in the absence of value, price is always an issue. I say this to gym owners all the time, right? So you're going to always have people who can absolutely 100% can afford your gym. And you have what I call like those top-down consumers, right? Hey, I want to join this gym. Give me the most expensive stuff you have because I can afford it and that's what I want, right? Then you're going to have these people who will never be able to afford your gym. And that's fine too. But they're the biggest portion of people that you're going to see that, come in through leads are people who could, but it's up to you to show them the value and get them to where they need to be to join your gym. And that's the difference between gyms who are just making enough money to support themselves every month and the gyms who are making $80,000, $90,000 a month in MRR. It's they work hard to show value and show people and convert those people that bring them over the line. And it's not sales, guys. It's coaching. They coach those people to show the value, to build them up and to get them into a new path. That's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think this is great. I do not believe that. I don't care. I don't believe you should have your prices on your website if you want to have more people in your gym. And I'm not talking about the $15 per class. I'm just saying if you just flat out have a pricing page on your website with your price is $220 per month or whatever it is, I don't think that's the way to go. I think that's super lazy because like you said, Rob, there are some people that absolutely can't afford it. There are also some people that absolutely can't afford it, but when they see $200 a month, they're gonna think I'm not paying $200 a month, right? Like they're gonna be like, oh, I'm not putting it. But if you were able to sit down with them and position your gym again as a solution to their problem, they'll be like, oh, this is more than I was planning on spending. But after talking with you, let's give it a try for 3 months, right? So that's why just like I know that we could talk about this for all day, but guys, there's a happy median. And I think as a community, we're starting to figure this out more and more, which is why I want to talk about this briefly, guys. But, we've given you guys a lot of tips. We're not going to keep you guys much longer. If you have any questions, you guys know how to find us. You can find us on social media, Facebook, email, whatever you need. This is us, Sherman, Blake, and Rob. Guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.